Hello, welcome back to my channel, Sarah Hallam Ceramics, aka the Stokie Potter. Today I'm going to show you how I hand build my pumpkins and my mushrooms. So I had a recent kiln opening video, number 10, if you want to go and check that out. In that is included some of the mushrooms that I will show you, and the pumpkins as well that I made, and lots of other goodies as well. So before we move on to the kind of how-to, I just want to show you one that I've literally just made. So this is using black clay, so it's the black Sibelco Nigra 2005 clay. I will include the details in the description as well. But yeah, that's one of the little mushrooms, so I'll be showing you how I make these. And this is one I made earlier. So this is using Mako night moth glaze, 3 coats, and on the stalk is Amico oatmeal, 3 coats. And this one is on Laguna 608 speckled clay. And just to show you the black, so the stalk is raw clay, so not glazed at all. I just love this clay, it's so gorgeous. And the glaze is Amico Indigo Float, 3 coats. How lovely is that? And the mushrooms, do you know, I keep getting mushrooms and pumpkins. So this is on my white local clay called Dracot, white stoneware. I use this clay a lot. So this is Mako Lime Shower, 3 coats, and on the stalk is Ancient Jasper Amico, 3 coats. And then just another one, show you the black clay for the pumpkin. I need to put my glasses on. So the stalk is clear glazed with Mako Stoneware Clear, and I found out after the fact that when you put clear on black clay it turns brown. So I think it's okay on this particular one. I think it goes well with the glaze, but I won't be doing it again. It's not my favourite, but the actual clay itself, the black clay, is lovely. And that's Honey Flux, sorry. That's no, that's Cenote by Mako. Okay, so shall we get into it? So let me just move you so that you can see what I'm doing. Move my glass out the way. Okay, so that's the clay. So it's Sibelco Nigra 2005. So what I do is I just grab a lump of clay. Now, if you don't have access to a kiln, but you want to have a go at making these, you can do. You can use air dry clay. So what I do is I just warm it up a little bit in my hands. It doesn't need to be wedged because we're hand building, but I like to just give it a little bit of a squish about in my hand. So you can have as big a piece or a smaller piece as you want. So this is going to be the stalk, so I'm going to make a big one, a biggish one. So you're starting off with a sausage shape, but what you want to end up with is a carrot. So using palms of your hands, literally just rolling it. And what I do is I tend to have the bottom out a little bit so that I want to kind of make a carrot shape. Tap it, And if it starts to mend and misshapen a little bit, that's okay. I actually quite like it when it does that, because it gives the mushroom character, because ultimately, you know, it is a natural occurring item that's growing outside in nature, and they're not perfectly straight, are they? So give it a nice tap on the bottom. So this does two things. It gives you somewhere to put your maker's mark if you have one. If you don't, you can just put your initials. There we go. That's my maker's mark. And what it also does is it gives you like a stable base. So I'm happy with that now. I just want to perhaps make it a little bit bigger, a bit taller. I also like to leave in any kind of finger marks or fingerprints. If it starts to kind of dry out a little bit and you start to get the kind of little surface cracks, just smooth it over with your finger. So I'm happy with that now. So what I do is I flatten the top off, because that's where the cap's going to sit. Get your scratchy tool and score the top. So that's kind of ready to go now. So I'll put that to one side. So grab a bit more clay. So kind of how big is the cap? So again, you can make the cap as big or small as you want. So start off by rolling it into a ball. I'm going to show you two ways that I do a cap. So the first way is literally with just using my hands, pressing it down in between my palms like that, so that you're getting kind of a flat piece. What I like about doing this is it leaves kind of the imprint, really, I suppose, on the clay, and I like that because you can see that it's been made by somebody's hands, my hands. So what you can see me doing now is I'm getting the clay, and with my thumb and fingers, I'm just evening it out a little bit. I don't worry about it being round because mushrooms aren't round. If it starts to just crack a little bit, just get a little bit of water, smooth that all the way around the edge. Okay, so I'm happy with that now. And I get my little silicone tool from the middle in, work my way around. I think these are called the gills. I'm not sure. All the way around. Don't need to be perfect. And then scratchy tool in the middle. And then what I do is I bring over my stalk, have a quick look to see if that's big enough before I put the cap on. Using the tool again, I just work all the way around, just adding some texture and some detail. You don't have to do this. If you want to keep it plain, you can do. So there we go. And I get my cap, get some magic water. I've talked about magic water before, but it's made up of 3 ingredients. I'll put the recipe up on the screen. And I bring in my little mini whirler. Put a bit of corn flour on here so that it doesn't stick. Get my stalk, get my cap, place it on there, just give it a little bit of a wiggle and a jiggle. When it stops kind of wiggling and jiggling, you know that you're getting a good connection. And then with my hand, I just ever so gently start to form the shape I want of the cap. As I say, I don't mind if it's a little bit uneven. Then I turn it upside down on my little whirler, get this little plastic tool. This came in a pack with loads of different shapes. Let me know if you're interested. And then I use the round end to just smooth out the clay and marry both pieces together. So I'll just bring you a little bit closer too so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm just pushing the clay into the top of the clap, like that, all the way around. Do that all the way. So I did actually record this a few weeks ago when I was making these, but my husband was watching cricket at the time, so I couldn't narrate. I couldn't do what I'm doing now. So I thought, oh, I'll just do a voiceover. And I tried to do a voiceover, did it, wasn't that happy with it, but I did it anyway. Came to upload it and I just had major technical problems, so I ended up having to delete the video, and I thought, oh, I'll just do another one. So as you can see, I'm just smoothing out using some of the magic water. Don't add too much because you don't want it to be soaking in there. Once you're happy with that, just gradually lift it up, turn it over, and there you go. Mushroom. So I'll show you how I do it another way. So same principle. You want a carrot, I'm going to go a bit taller, a bit thinner this time. Make us mark. Scratch, scratch, till all the way around. There we go. And then for the cap, I'll show you what I use. So I use this. I don't know what it's called. I will have a look. I think I got it from Amazon, maybe Temu. I'll put a link. So it's a great little tool. So I'll start off with my ball of clay. As before, flatten it out on my hands, the palms of my hands like that. And then just dunk it in some corn flour. Then I put it on the top like that, palm of my hand, and then I just rock all the way around. And if you want to, you can kind of really push it down on top of the form. And this gives you a really nice shape. And it's how I actually formed this one. When you're happy with that, put it back in your palm. And if it's stuck, what you need to do is you need to hold that and twist this at the same time. Again, it just pops off. Scratch, scratch, using your tool again. Work all the way around. Magic water. Get the stalk. Squish, squish, squish. Upside down. Go all the way around. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect because A, it's a mushroom, and B, you won't really see this bit anyway. And I think it kind of just adds to the texture. Smooth that out, a bit more magic water, twizzle, 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 lift it up, straighten it up a little bit because I think, sorry, there we go. There we go. That's how I do a slightly different cap. So you don't need that tool, but if you've got one, then it gives you the option to kind of make a slightly different shape. So if I show you the two different shapes, I quite like to do a kind of a bit of a mixture, that shape and that shape. So what I'll do now is I'll show you how I make my pumpkins. I'm going to show you two ways again. So I've got silicone mould here, so it comes in 2 halves, and then I'll also show you how I do it by hand. So I'm just going to pause you for a moment. Sorry about that, I just needed to let the dog in. So pumpkin, grab a lump of clay. Again, you can make these as big or as small as you want. I will be doing some pinch pot pumpkins for Halloween, but that'll be in another video. So ball, get a nice ball shape, well, as close as a ball shape as you can. And then what I do is I get just the end of my tool and I push it up into the bottom, hold it in my hand, and then I just rotate that all around. And what this does is you're basically making a mini pinch pot, but it helps to it helps it to dry a little bit quicker. So if you're happy with that, then you get the shape. So pumpkins are kind of like a bit squashed, aren't they, and a bit dented in the middle. So get to my shape like that, and then I use this tool again, and starting at the bottom, I rock all the way up to create the segment. Just gradually work my way around. Again, it doesn't matter if they're evenly spaced. I think there is a set number of segments on a pumpkin, but it doesn't really matter. So there you go, when you're happy with that. What I do then now is I just poke a hole in the top like that. And then I get a little bit more clay, literally just a really small piece of clay. And now you just want to make your stalk. And what I try and do is sometimes I'll kind of twist it around a little bit. Might get a little bit, might crack a little bit, but that's okay. Scratch, scratch, scratch. Put a little bit of magic water, and then I just push that in, push that down. And then you can shape your stalk however you want. So I'm just going to leave it like that, I think. Get in the magic water. and maybe just put a little bit of texture on the stalk. And then because I haven't got a great deal of room to put my maker's mark, I tend to got these little letters. So SHC. You don't have to do this bit. And then I'll just put S H C. Sarah Hallam Ceramics. And there we go. Little pumpkin. How I use the mould. So I've put some corn flour, grab a bit of clay, and what you want to do is you want 2 kind of even-ish amounts of clay. They aren't even. 2 balls. I tend to, if I need something to be even, I tend to kind of like put them in both my hands like that, close my hands, and I close my eyes as well. Don't any of you do that? And you can kind of gauge, you know, whether they're even or not. They're not absolutely bang on even, but one of the moulds is actually slightly bigger than the other anyway. So this side is actually slightly bigger. So I'll start with that side first. So getting your lump of clay, place it in, so that's actually a perfect size. Anyone would think I've done this before. And you just, what I tend to do is put my thumb at the bottom there, because otherwise this clay, you'll just squidge out the bottom here. Put my thumb there just to keep it flat. And then I just gradually push the clay up into the mould, making sure that it's forming the stalk. Again, I'll put a link to these, to the silicone mould. I think I got it from Amazon. Once I'm happy with that, I just leave it as it is for now. And then I move on to the next half. Same principle, push it in, gradually work it in, push it up into the stalk part. Probably got a tiny bit too much clay here, but it's okay. Okay, and then scratch, because what you're going to do is you're going to stick these 2 pieces together. And what I do at this point is I get my tool, the end of my tool, and I kind of make an indent like that. And again, what that does is it just helps when it's drying, basically. I'll do the other bit. It just helps the air to get up into the middle of the clay. I know it's not a massive amount of clay, but I find that it just helps. And then whilst it's still in the mould, some magic water on both sides. As it's in the mould, so you can see that there's like little bubbly bits there and indents there. So you line them up so that it matches, and then you get your mussels and you just squish. squish them together. What I do is I just kind of squish them together. At the bottom here, start to kind of just mould them together. So you've got a nice flat bottom, a bit of a tap, and then you just gradually work the silicone mould off. So squished out a little bit. So before I take the other side off, I'm just going to clean that up. And that's happened because I'd got a little bit too much clay, hadn't I, in that one half. But it's okay, just clean it up. Just give it a bit of a tidy. Go all the way around. And then just gradually work. And because you've got that corn flour on, it will just eventually pop out. So at the moment it's looking a bit flat. So what I do is I just give it a bit of a fingers either side of the stalk. And I just kind of shape it a little bit more. But not too much because you don't want to lose that definition. There we go. So again, I just get the end of that and I just kind of poke it back up in there. I mean, you can just do it at this stage, you don't have to do it at the other stage. And then get my letters, S, H, C, and there we go. A little pumpkin. So, thank you very much for watching. If you have enjoyed my tutorial and you'd like to see more, please like and subscribe if you don't already. And wherever you are in the world, I hope you will have a fabulous day and I shall see you next time. Bye.